In March 2023, Jason Arday walked into the halls of Cambridge University, taking on the role of Professor of Sociology of Education. At 37 years old, he secured his place in history as the youngest Black professor ever appointed by the institution. But almost as soon as he reached the summit, severe questions began circulating regarding the integrity of his academic credentials and his research methods. The scrutiny culminated in his abrupt resignation from Cambridge, which was rapidly followed by his sudden and tragic death. This rapid collapse left behind a highly scrutinized legacy, one that forces us to look backward to figure out exactly how this intricate, fragile dream was built in the first place. The man at the center of this elite academic debate couldn't speak a single word until he was 11 years old, and for 7 years after he found his voice, he remained entirely unable to read or write. How does a person bridge the mechanical gap between total illiteracy as a young adult and the highest echelons of global academia? At 3 years old, Arday was diagnosed with autism and global development delay. Throughout his early childhood, his only method of communicating with the outside world was through basic sign language. Medical professionals delivered a blunt consensus to his mother, Gifty Arday. Her son would likely require lifelong care and would never live independently. Gifty completely rejected that prognosis. She became his primary support system and refused to let the medical consensus dictate his future. Together, they established a blueprint. On his bedroom wall, he wrote down 3 seemingly impossible goals in chalk, including a clear directive to eventually teach at Oxford or Cambridge. That chalk list turned a restrictive medical verdict into a physical, actionable checklist. His formal educational climb began weight. At 18, he was finally starting from scratch, learning the bare mechanics of reading and writing. Bypassing traditional elite entry points, he took a different route entirely, earning his initial degree in physical education. Guided by his mentor, Sandro Sandri, he pushed himself to the physical limit, regularly working through the night to study, conduct research, and eventually submit his PhD. His momentum built as he successfully navigated the academic ranks, eventually securing a respected position at Glasgow University. And then the wall prophecy was fulfilled. Cambridge University officially appointed him to their faculty. Pure individual willpower had managed to override both his initial medical gatekeeping and the rigid systemic barriers of higher education. But existing at the absolute peak of elite academia triggers a microscopic level of institutional scrutiny. Once there, intense debates regarding his research methodology and academic history rapidly eroded his professional standing. This singular force of Arday's ambition eventually collided with the strict, uncompromising standards of centuries-old institutional academia. The brute force required to climb a mountain is entirely different from the structural foundation required to survive once you reach the summit. Arday's story is deeply complicated and undeniably tragic. It lacks a clean, inspirational Hollywood resolution. Yet, the controversies surrounding his final months do not retroactively delete the facts of his ascent. He was a nonverbal child given zero hope by medical experts who learned to read at 18 and walked the halls of Cambridge. His life stands as a stark testament to the outer limits of human perseverance, fueled by a mother's unyielding belief. Does the sudden fractured end of a dream diminish the impossible mountains climbed to reach it?